Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Late Winner Show. Today is a Blues podcast. We're talking about Chelsea today. Their new signing, Saul Niguez, who has just joined the club for a fee for a loan for about I think for 5 million euros if I'm not right if I'm not wrong. And I have Ankit with me, who is an avid Chelsea fan. Welcome, Ankit.
Hey Rishabh, great to be here. I know I've been following the Late Winner Show for the last few months, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. So keep up the great work. And yes, really pleased to actually see a Chelsea podcast dedicated totally, and that's something that you had to do because we are the European champions after all. But yeah, having said that, looking forward to the season, and again, thanks for having RCBian Chelsea Fan TV as well.
That's great. That's great. Do you mind introducing your channel a bit as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as you can see, it's right here. It's RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. That's how you find it on YouTube. By the name, you might have guessed that it might be a little bit of RCB and Chelsea content. Yes. So that means that I am a cricket fan as well, but primarily a Chelsea and a soccer fanatic, right? As in a football fanatic. So yes, you can find a lot of Chelsea content, especially live streams. I often go live. And there are some trivia shows for neutral football fans as well. And I do cover a little bit of international football. So anyone out there who's interested, feel free to subscribe. RCB and cricket content is kind of very seasonal right now, and as we speak, I am planning to also revamp the channel, so I might as well come with a second channel as well. So stay tuned for my updates on Twitter and Instagram. I am active as Ankit Rana, that's my name, or RCB and Chelsea Fan TV. So yeah, looking forward to connect.
Awesome. That's great. So, before we actually get to the new signing, let's talk a little bit about how the season's going so far for Chelsea. What have you made out of Chelsea's performances in these last three games?
See, as in obviously being the European champs again, I have to kind of repeat that. But the Super Cup win was something that really charged us up for the season, right? I know you asked about the three games, but that a penalty shootout win, any cup is important. But a Super Cup is something that has not been in Chelsea's kind of tray for a long time. After that, we kind of got the mojo going, and I think the three games have proven that we are kind of right up there in terms of title challengers. Even the squad, right? The transfer window was very important for us because whole of last season, yeah, winning the Champions League is one thing, but in the Premier League, we couldn't finish chances for fun. So getting, say, Lukaku and getting obviously the last minute signing that we're going to talk about is something which fills our squad, and the performances have been great, especially the game against Liverpool. You saw that against 11 men, we actually 12 men because they at Anfield, right? And we with 10 men, controversially, so I would say so. But the fight that the team shows, and of course the unit that Tuchel has made us into, is something that is hard to beat. So I'm just kind of buzzed for the season, I would say.
Okay, awesome. That's great. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And let's move forward. So Saul has obviously joined on a season-long loan and he was signed at 11:45 p.m. on Tuesday British time, requiring special permission to complete a deal after the 11 p.m. deadline. Last season's Champions League winners have paid a 5 million euro fee, a loan fee, and understood to have an option to buy him for a 35 million euros next summer. I think it's a move that suits all the parties. Salah spent almost his entire career at Atletico Madrid and took a full part in their La Liga title celebrations as well last season. But obviously, he's not played a very key role, in their success for quite some time, I would say. Atletico themselves were very happy, having the room freed up for their last minute signing as well for Antoine Griezmann, who returned from Barcelona. What do you think that Saul brings to the team?
See, like you said, right, it was definitely a saga the way he came to Chelsea. So I have to kind of say that, that kind of shows that he himself, firstly, wants to come to Chelsea because he has really pushed hard for this move. And like you again said, like he has not been like the fulcrum of the team in, say, the last 18 months or so. Having said that, he's someone who's been there in Atletico forever. Like, I think if I'm not wrong, he was part of the academy. He signed a 9-year contract. So Firstly, it shows that this is someone who's kind of loyal. In today's day in football, you don't find such people. And again, the way he came out of Atletico, the emotional moment that he had, it was all telecast, right? And that was also kind of showing that he's someone who feels that he's coming out of a home, coming to his new home. And I actually see someone like a Kovacic in the past, right? Someone who came on loan. It's not a risk option for Chelsea because he is kind of coming on loan. We have an option to buy.
Yeah.
In terms of his ability, yes, the difference maker for me is firstly he's left-footed. We haven't had a left-footed kind of DM or number six after Matic. Again, I don't want to kind of compare, but this is something which brings a different element to our midfield. Obviously, we have two, European midfielders of the year in our team, but it'll only kind of add to that because we have a lot of games. We are playing in the Club World Cup and whatnot, especially this year, right? So I think minimum 65 games is what you expect. And Kante is not that fit as what he used to be. He's obviously world class on his day, but he's not expected to play, say more than 40 games is what I would say. So Saul will get a lot of game time. In terms of the management that Tuchel kind of brings to our squad, right? As in, he's someone who kind of is a people's manager. So knowing Saul, he's been through some hard times in recent year. I think Tuchel will mold him in. And again, in terms of his ability, he has the ability to take long shots. Something that our midfield misses. A lot of times we pass away to death and we don't kind of have that long shot going. So that is something that I am really looking forward to watch him play. Plus, he brings the Champions League experience. I know we have a lot of experience in midfield, but again, experience is something that you can never discount, right? You always kind of have that, especially in the Champions League and the bigger tournaments. So, yes, we have like options like Barkley and Loftus-Cheek, who also are midfield options, but they're not pure number sixes. Saul is someone who is that plus brings that Champions League experience. So we can rely on him more than the others. And he's a winner, like you said. He is a recent La Liga winner and beating the likes. I know Barcelona and Real Madrid are not in the prime, but still beating those kind of tournaments and just being in a team with Simeone as a manager tells me that he's someone who kind of has a discipline and knows how to win dirty if need be. So it's an all-round kind of game that Saul brings to the table, and I think 30 million pounds, if I'm not wrong, is the fee. Like if he does well, so I think he has to do really bad for us not to sign him. And for the amount of exposure Saul has had, I think he's in the prime of his career. I think 26 he's, and that's around the prime that he's talking. So definitely, I would take him any day for that amount.
You mentioned about playing in the Simeone, playing under Simeone. I think his relationship with Simeone is also not very good in the last few years. He has obviously slipped down the pecking order at Atletico in the last 2 years. I think his last season, the first choice midfield three was Koke, Marcus Llorente, and Thomas Lemar. To add to the competition, they've also signed Rodrigo de Paul, Atletico Madrid, and obviously he's immediately leapfrogged him. I think the main problem for him was, obviously he had an injury affected season last season, 2020, 2021. And then the bigger problem for Saul over there was that he knows that he's a midfielder, but Simeone changed his tactic or his formation to a 4-4-2. From his regular 4-4-2 to a back three with a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. Or play a 4-3-3. And he's majority of the time he's played on his as a left wing back on Simeone's team, which I think he must have definitely contacted Tuchel and told him like, hey man, if you're gonna play me on that left wing back position, I'm not gonna join you guys. I want to play in that midfield because and he's brilliant. I've seen. I don't see a lot of games in the La Liga, but definitely the major games that I've seen, I think he's a different type of midfielder, and he brings that different kind of mentality and different kind of that spark into the Chelsea midfield, which I really feel at this moment Chelsea doesn't have that, except maybe Mount that provides that. Jorginho and Kante, yes, they do their jobs, but they don't provide that extra spark. So what do you think in that perspective in terms of attacking prowess? What will he bring?
See, I think you have a great point there, Rishabh, because yes, he is someone who is very versatile. But again, that kind of works against him, especially in the La Liga in the last 12 to 18 months. Having said that, I think versatility can only help because he's a tactician, right? Someone who kind of can play to Tuchel's tactics, and I think the entire world knows when it comes to tactics, Tuchel is right up there, like
Yeah.
no undermining there. So again, a lot of times we play with a 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3, as you might call. But if you notice in between games, Mount, you mentioned, he tucks in midfield. So we have a three-man central midfield as well at times, and that is where I think Saul, being left-footed and having played at other positions as well, if need be, can kind of go there and defend very well, because we play a lot of counter-attacking football in terms of big games. So I'm sure, like, being the tactician and having played in those systems will only help him. And of course, I think he must have spoken to Tuchel about playing in central midfield. That's why I didn't kind of sell the proposition about him playing at left wing back, because we have players for that. So he'll start as a central midfielder, no doubt. But in between games, I will still not be surprised, because of the fact that we play certain players in certain positions, and the formation that we do. He might kind of fill voids. I don't know if you're trying to get what I'm saying, but yeah, he's definitely going to be filling those gaps which we currently miss. Like Kovacic, I'm a Kovacic stan. Like, I can say that frankly. He is someone who progresses with the ball, but again, defensively there are question marks for me, right? In terms of, like, real pace and strength. Saul has a grit and again the tactical prowess to actually be there at the right time. So in big games, when say Kante is injured, I can see him kind of being a better fit than even a Kovacic, if I may say so. And that's coming from me. Trust me, that's something for sure. But yeah, again, it's about form. And even, like, one thing I missed to mention is about I don't know if you know that he had like a personal tough time as well. Like, in the last few years, I think he's had a kidney issue. So he's had a kidney removed, and he actually played with that for, I think, over a year. With an artificial kidney.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
So that is something that you really bring the determination, the resilience factor, which Chelsea is again known for, right? So he kind of fills and takes all the DNA. I think the only thing for me is the communication on the pitch, because I don't think he is very comfortable with English as such, but it helps having a lot of Spaniards on the pitch. I think obviously Kepa is his best friend, but I don't think Kepa is going to start many games. Hopefully not. But yeah, then. No disrespect there, but yeah, 𝗕𝗲𝗏, our captain fantastic, will make sure along with Tuchel to get him to play in midfield, and hopefully he'll be happy as well, because I think going by the last week, like, from the time he's been signed, all he's been doing is just posting on his social media about Chelsea and how he loves Chelsea, like, entire family. So it's almost like a Thiago Silva part 2. I don't know if you know, but Thiago Silva and his entire family kind of adore Chelsea, and they kind of love Chelsea even more so than me, who followed Chelsea for 20 years. Like, that is something for you, and that is what Saul hopefully will bring that team spirit with Atletico is known for.
Yeah, I think I saw that tweet. I think the day he was signed, or sorry, the day after that he was signed, I think he tweeted "Good morning Blues" or something. On Twitter. So that was lovely to see that he's, as a fan, like, he's as a player, he's so excited to join the European champions. Yeah, thank you for that. Keep on doing the European champions. It's coming out of my mouth as well now.
I'll take that any day.
So I just wanted to point out, and thank you to the Athletic, who provides all these great stats. Just wanted to share that as well, like, you can see in terms of the position, the share of minutes that Saul Niguez has played over the 2020-2021 season for Atletico Madrid. You can see, like, that left midfield position, that 23% of his minutes were actually there. And then I mentioned that when Simeone changed his formation to a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, that's the position where he used to play as a wing back. So that's a lot of minutes in terms of for a central midfielder to be playing in that position. So hopefully, I think that won't happen at Chelsea. I think you guys already have Marcos Alonso and Ben Chilwell. I don't really think that's a worry that Saul should have.
Absolutely. Like, in terms of squad, we probably have more than what we require. So that's the only kind of worry, if I may say so, because with Lampard, the problem was he wasn't able to manage that big squad very well. We know the experienced guys, there's no secret there that there was something, going behind the scenes, even though he kind of did well for a period. But that when things went bad, I think the people who don't play definitely are not happy. So for me, even Ben Chilwell, for example, not starting beginning of the season, can become an issue in itself. So why put Saul in that kind of position, And Marcus Alonso has been fantastic. So we have at least two players for every position. So unless it's like major crisis like what Liverpool had, like touch wood again, I hope that's not the case, this season. But only then I see him kind of filling those voids. But again, we have a lot of youngsters, if need be, in academy, which is again great. So I don't think there's a need for that. But yeah, for me, like again, another thing is like he comes from a family of footballers, so that kind of helps because he is someone who kind of thinks and talks football all the time, right? And with Tuchel, I see a great fit again because of the fact that he's someone who is a great tactician and loves kind of just chatting football, and hopefully he'll fit in well. It's about him fitting in England and the team. The position I don't see is an issue at all. Like obviously he doesn't expect to start every game. Like he has to be
Yeah,
realistic, but for sure with our season he will play a lot of games in midfield.
that's for sure. Yes. Talking a little bit about his. We talked about how he can perform in the attacking positions for Chelsea. Let's talk a little bit about his defensive actions because that also is pretty good. He's very active out of possession and looks to regularly get close to his man to make a defensive action. I think his defensive intensity rating is out of 99 is 75. Actions that he does make, which is basically the tackles, blocks, and interceptions, are also one of the most frequent among his peers. Where with his tally of 4.2 tackles and interceptions per 90 minutes, putting him in the top 10% of midfielders in La Liga last season. So we can see that the defending intensity is rated as 75 out of 19, as I mentioned, but then the defending impact is not there as that much. Do you and I don't really see even him doing that much in defensively because I think you guys definitely play Jorginho and Kante both in most of the games, which they play as a central defensive midfielder, which he doesn't really have to worry about. So I think the only thing that and he's so good about was carrying the ball forward and making those and he is a box to box midfielder. So I think that's one of the things that he should be really focusing on rather than actually his defensive actions. He's good at closing out, but not actually at defending.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. Like one great stat that I see on screen here, Rishabh, is disrupting opposition moves, right? So that is
Yes.
something that if you see for us, Kante is the main person who does that. He is probably the best in the world in doing that, right? But again, with Kante not being there for many games last season in the Premier League, especially, like he is a great replacement. Again, not a direct replacement, but someone who kind of does that. Plus, like you said, who carries the ball forward. And in carrying the ball forward, I would like to say is better than Kante. Again, no
Yeah,
disrespect to
for
Kante,
sure.
but
Yeah, yeah.
in that ability alone, right? So if you actually see on paper, he has the ability to actually even start in future. Like, he has something that we didn't have, like you said earlier as well. Because again, Kovacic is probably the better one in terms of carrying the ball forward, but he's not great in terms of aerial duels or disrupting opposition moves. This is someone who actually does that. Plus what Kovacic brings, and like I said about Kante. So again, Jorginho and Saul would actually make a great pair for me because Jorginho is someone who kind of gets those passes going. He's someone who kind of sits back. He's not someone who has pace. He's not a box to box, so as to speak. And this person can be the box to box that we all want Kante to be 60 games a season, but that's not possible. So that's where he'll really fill in, and hopefully, just receiving the ball and kind of playing it out, being the playmaker also that he can be, is something that is probably adding a feather to the cap that we already have. So yeah, all in all, I would say his defensive ability is something that Chelsea needed, and he was, I think, rumored to be also going to Liverpool and Manchester United. But again, the
Yeah.
way Chelsea play, it'll probably suit him because I think we don't play that heavy metal football that Liverpool plays and Manchester United. Don't disrespect your Rishabh. I know you're a fan, but I still don't know what is the Manchester United way of Ole, right? So that is something that I think Thomas Tuchel is very clear, and
Yeah.
he'll probably be a better fit, is what I can say.
That is a whole different podcast. No, no. So, but yeah, like all talking about like his defensive actions itself, I think it is pretty good in terms of what he provides defensively as well. And, if Chelsea's ambitions are to, like what Manchester City were doing last season, they were basically competing on all fronts. If that is the ambition that Chelsea has and Tuchel has, then I guess this is a very, very good signing in terms of squad depth. And I think we've tweeted as well and said that this provides a different kind of squad depth. And what Chelsea has this season is something else. I don't think anybody in the entire Premier League has that kind of squad depth that Chelsea has this season. So they are definitely a definite threat for the Premier League title and each of the competitions that they play.
Yeah, and obviously, touchwood and crossing my fingers as you say that, but I think we are definitely right up there. And like Chelsea is known for kind of sacking managers if things don't go well. So yeah, the pressure is on. But again, the confidence is also there. Obviously, because of the recent trophies, that's helped. But again, I don't want to kind of jump the gun because I think other clubs have signed a lot of good players as well. So I think this will be one of the most interesting seasons. And I think, yeah, in terms of midfield, I would like to say our midfield is the best. We have probably 7 midfielders on paper. I don't think even Barkley and Loftus-Cheek will get a game even. I think the European window might be open. So who knows? They might go.
I think they can only play in those games where it's a dead rubber. So you guys might win the 4 out of 4 in the Champions League, which probably you might will now that Ronaldo's gone from Juventus. So that's probably an easy group for now for you guys now, and probably like a League Cup game against Barnsley or someone where Ross Barkley might get a hat trick or something. So you never know that. Yeah, but I feel like the challenge for Tuchel now is obviously and obviously Saul as well. Like he finds a role within Chelsea and where he can thrive at. And then obviously, as you mentioned, his last few years have been very difficult for him personally as well. And I think he himself quite admitted that he was not actually reaching the levels that he is actually supposed to be performing at. Obviously, this recent injury to N'Golo Kante obviously gets him a direct place in Chelsea squad. I think they play this weekend. I don't know against who, but I think Aston Villa. I think he definitely plays against Aston Villa. But I think he once Kante comes back, I want to know like where his position is actually and how he can be integrated into the team.
Yeah, so I would actually kind of disagree there because I still see Kovacic and Jorginho. Kovacic is someone who, for some reason, internationally is not really getting the plaudits. He's someone who's won 4 European titles. He's a great mover of the ball for us. Kind of gets us going. But yes, eventually Saul will come. For beginners, I don't see him starting any games, like even the cup games. Like I wouldn't take the risk of starting him right now. But ability is there. Champions League, like you said, if Kante is not fit, I would definitely start him over Kovacic, but not in England. Like he still needs to develop the game in terms of just getting to know the team, the way we function, and of course, things are in British football. Like we all know that it's different, right? And it's his first move internationally, so for him to come into the team, it will be difficult. Yes, but I can certainly see him getting those 20-30 minutes in games, to begin with, and hopefully those Champions League, which is also starting in some time. So Kante is going to start no matter what, and Jorginho, that's our first 2 midfield. But yeah, Saul will eventually come in because Kante has to be definitely rested every now and then. We need to manage his game time because he is injury prone now, and that's his age, unfortunately. So hopefully Saul will play every game in say 3 games is what I can say.
Okay, awesome. I think that does it for us. Great discussion, I think, on Saul and what he can bring to Chelsea in terms of attacking and defense. Thank you again, Ankit, for joining on our podcast. And before we sign out, definitely please go check out Ankit's channel as well, and please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, The Late Winner Show, as well. Go check out our Instagram and Twitter handles. I'll leave the links in the description below. And stay tuned for more awesome content. Thank you, Ankit. Thanks for joining again.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, man.